Next time, we are watching Fast 6. We will not be doing Fast 7 on a separate episode. We've already done Fast 7. You can go listen to that episode. We did 1 and 7 at the same time. Then we're going to do 8. I have not seen 8 or Hobbs and Shaw. I missed those two. I have seen 9. So 8 is going to be new for both of us.
Excellent. Good. Can't wait.
And then 9 is going to be actually part of our end of year. It's going to be one of our end of year episodes, which is very exciting that we landed.
That'll be great. No, our end of the year is going to be very weird because we're going to watch Fast 9 and also Avatar: The Way of Water.
And there better be a Princess Switch 4.
Welcome to Mortified, the Friendship Quest, a podcast where two long-distance friends bounce media recommendations, all in hopes the other will like it. I'm Aaron.
And I'm a close-up on an ass that tells us we're in the Fast franchise.
This week, we enlarge the family by one baby and a rock with Fast 5. Before we steal a safe with only our brains, cars, and a lot of steel wire, remember you can help us on Mortified the Legitimacy Quest by subscribing to us on YouTube, iTunes, or Spotify, signing up for our monthly newsletter through a link in our show notes, or following us on Twitter and Tumblr at MortifiedPod. Leyla.
Aaron.
Have you ever wanted to be free?
Sure.
What about an ant?
Yeah.
Excellent. Great. Welcome to the family.
Thanks.
Yeah, we are continuing our delve into the Fast franchise. This is for, people who like to keep up, going to be recorded in the past. This is pre-recorded. We're recording this on the 31st of July. So, it's a little bit out of sync, but I assure you, you're going to like this one because this is, I guess, I still think 7 is still my favorite, but this is my second favorite Fast movie.
I mean, it's pretty fucking good is the thing.
It kind of kicks ass.
Do you want to summarize it?
I do. All right, so following the events of the Fast and Furious 4, the Torettos and Brian O'Connor are on the run from the U.S. government, and Special Agent Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is on the hunt. In order to get enough money for them to finally be free, they decide to steal all the money they can from a Brazilian gangster named Hernan Reyes after he burns them on a car heist. They assemble a pretty fucking great team, do a bunch of insane hijinks, and then fight The Rock, befriend The Rock, and a hot Brazilian widower, and get the money. It's great. That's it. That's what happens. It's maybe the best movie I've ever seen, except for Fast 7, of course.
This movie loves widowers.
Yes, honestly. There's nothing better. The most important thing, the only thing more important than family is when one of your family members has died.
Specifically a spouse.
100%.
So that you can mourn them by showing the audience you still fuck and fucking Vin Diesel.
And you know what? Listen, if I die and Sierra meets Vin Diesel, I want her to have a great time.
I think Sierra could land The Rock.
Yeah, 100%.
Great.
Could The Rock land my wife, though? That's the question.
That is the question. I think he'd have to work for it.
He'd have to work. Listen, she's got high standards. Anyway, shall we talk about the Rock of this family, Dom Toretto?
I mean, he's dieselin'.
Listen, right, these characters are kind of set in stone. They don't really change, right? That's kind of not the point of these movies, right? Like, Dom shows up here and he's like, yeah, you busted me out of prison. You did kill a lot of people in that bus, the bus heist. So at the end of Fast 4, we see him getting on a prison bus, and we see Mia and Brian break him out in their cars. We don't see the actual full heist. We do see it in this one, and they start by flipping over a prison bus like a dozen times. And it's like, I wish you had been a little bit gentler.
Yeah, all those bitches are dead. There's no, you can't.
They make a point to be like, yeah, it was weird. There were no fatalities at all. It's like, no, I don't fucking think so.
No, I think they're all dead, actually. I think there are no fatalities in the sense that there was no one to fatalize after a certain point.
They had to hire a necromancer to bring Dom back because he was snapped in twain.
I will say I do like the turn of Uncle Dom.
Yes, right. So, Mia gets pregnant in this one, and like he does start to become like yeah, I'm gonna have a nephew, and he's great. Yeah,
he softens 0.05%, and that's all I ask of a Dom Toretto.
There's a really great scene, right, with him and Brian, and like they're racing because they're like, oh, we're gonna have so much money, we'll each bet $1 million, and then whoever wins the race, will get $1 million. And Brian wins very narrowly, and then and Brian's like, yeah, I owned you guys, yeah. And then like the other people who are racing are like, oh, so you didn't see it, and he's like, what? And they're like, oh, Dom let you win. He eased up on the clutch there at the end, and then Brian's like, no, he didn't. And then they're like, it was a baby present. It's great. It owns.
Yeah, that is the best kind of psychological torment for Brian, which I really love. Speaking of Brian, he's there, and he is scared to be a papa.
Yeah, I mean, like, right, he's the same as always. There is one crucial scene where he and Dom talk about, their dads, right? And Dom talks about, like, his dad was always there. He always had a barbecue after church. And if you didn't go to church, you didn't get any barbecue. Really doing the work of conversion, Mr. Toretto. But, like, Dom was like, yeah, my dad was great. And then Brian's like, my dad was never around. I don't remember anything about him. And he's like, and, Dom's like, you know what? You're not going to be like that, man. And, like, that's basically the only thing that changes about his character, but I do think it's kind of a nice moment to get some, interiority with them and see how that affects them.
I will say, having seen 9, that there's an impressive amount of continuity about Dom's dad, so get ready for him to come up.
Oh my god, are we gonna meet Mr. Toretto at some point?
You're sure gonna get some information about the Toretto family. I'm so excited for you to watch 9.
Cannot wait to meet ultra Catholic Mr. Toretto. That'll be great. Mia,
she's there. She's pregante.
Yeah. Pregnate?
She weaponizes her pregnancy, which I appreciate.
Yeah, she's just like, hey, can you guys stop fighting because I am pregnant. I do wish that they didn't make her being pregnant such a crucial part of this film because they do throw her off a lot of buildings.
Yeah, I did notice, though she does get to nap while the boys work.
That is good. I'm glad that they let her rest. This is one time. I mean, I don't know if this is like justified in being like, oh, well, because she's pregnant, she has to take a back seat. But in the story, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
There's the rest of the team.
There's so many.
Ludacris and Tyrese rolled in to play Roman and Tej.
Yep, they're great.
Roman does have a private jet that says, "It's Roman bitches" on the tail, which I love.
I didn't see that. That's really good.
It's really incredible. Han is here, which does mean all of this happens pre-Tokyo Drift.
It's wild, right? They even say at the end, like, when him and Gal Gadot, spoilers, they hook up, like, are driving away. She's like, oh, you don't want to go to Tokyo? And he's like, maybe in a bit. Which is wild that Tokyo Drift is actually in the future of this franchise. But then again, God, it's wild. Just wild that they keep resurrecting him. But I'm here for it. It's fine.
Yeah, so Han is, he hasn't gone to Tokyo yet, which is funny because it does imply that Tokyo will then be behind technologically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good.
Gal Gadot's here.
There's one thing that happens with her besides her hooking up with Han. Oh, actually, there's two things. One that is good is that the way that they need to unlock a safe, right, at one point. And the way that the safe opens is with a handprint, like, scanner. And they're like, we don't know how to get this guy's great handprint. What are we going to do? So Gal Gadot is just like, never send a woman to do a man's job. And she, like, goes over and like lets this mobster feel her up, and then they reverse take the handprint off of her swimsuit, and they use that as the way to open the fucking safe. And at one point, like Ludacris and Tyrese are like, so did he like slap that ass, or did he like grab and hold on to it? I was like, this is misogynist in the best way, I think. Am I allowed to laugh at this?
It's misogynist parentheses goofy. Like,
exactly, right.
It's like that
very
cousin
silly.
you have that's like trying his hardest to understand you're a person, but you need to undo like 30 years of cultural conditioning. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, it's very good. Also, she's confirmed to have been part of Mossad in this one, which like is the reason why people don't like Gal Gadot anymore, is because she's pro IDF. So I don't think she's coming back in future installments, is what I'm saying. Leyla made a face. Well,
we're gonna have fun. Okay, so
free Palestine. Anyway,
speaking of people who come back for future installments, Vince is back.
Yeah, you remember him from Fast and Furious 1?
He comes back to die.
Yeah, he gets shot.
After betraying the family, though, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm glad.
That's what you get.
It's yeah. I put him on this list. I wouldn't have even brought him up, but like, what do you think the purpose of having him here was? What did it do for the story?
You know, I'll give it this. So we talked about how so Tokyo Drift hasn't happened yet canonically, but in our universe, Tokyo Drift has happened because the franchise was asking, is it about the cars? And then 4 happened because the franchise was asking, is it about the cop drama? I think we had to bring Vince back to be like, no, it's about the family. But we had to kill him to be like, it's about the new family.
Mm-hmm. But, like, I think you're right. And I do think that, like, yeah, they did kill him because, like, nobody gives a shit about his character. But, like, even the very little bit they did that, like, reinforced Dom's, like, whole family thing, like, does work for me. Like, because he talks about how he's like, oh, Dom, he's, like, bleeding out. His guts are spilling everywhere. You know, like, he's on his deathbed. And he's like, oh, you know that little baby that we showed? Because apparently I have a wife now and a kid. We named him after you. You got to go see him. You know, we named him Nico, but like it's Dominic, like Dominico. I know it's not like a one-on-one comparison, but we didn't want it to. Oh fuck, I'm dead. But like, yeah, even that little bit did work for me because like all the times that he like betrayed them and like fucked them up, like Dom still is like, you know what? There's always room for family. I'll let you back in on this heist. You know, one more job. And like that, the way that builds on Dom's character does work for me. Maybe I'm just a fucking sucker. We just recorded our Big O episode where we talk about how Americans are fucking morons, and you know that's me. I'm Americans. But like, yeah, I liked it. It was fine.
Yeah, hey, it worked for me too. It's great. I loved seeing that fucking Fast 1 throwback. But we did get some new faces in this motion picture film. Fast 5 is where we finally get the fucking Rock.
Now, Dom, at last, we see each other playing. He's Javert. He's fucking Javert.
He is fucking Javert. He is justice at all costs, and justice only in the sense of the law.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, like, I don't, like, he's like the Rock, like, cause, you know, the Rock is kind of seen as like a cuddly, cool, big guy. I mean, he was in Moana, right? He was in all those like weird, like babysitter films where like it's a big, strong man who is a family guy. And this time he's, you know, trying to be the bad guy. And like, he does an okay job of it. Like, he's like, oh, I'm going to catch you guys. You know, Dom, you beat a man half to death with a wrench once. And, you know, you walked out on the force, Brian, so I'm more righteous than you. The stars are fixed in their place, and they never waver in their pursuit of justice, just like me. But, yeah, I think he's pretty good.
You keep that wrench thing in the back of your head.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
You keep it tucked away back there.
Just like a Toretto, baby. Always got that motherfucking thing on me.
He is not only the bad guy, he's a bad boy. That's his whole thing. Is like,
wait, really? You think so?
I mean, yeah, that's his whole thing. Is like he goes to interrogate that guy and he starts beating the shit out of him. And Elena is like, or was it Elena? Somebody, yeah, I think it was Elena, just standing there and somebody's like, is that legal? And he's like, no, but do you want to go in there and tell him? Right? He's like the bad boy of the Force.
Okay, so here's the thing. I watched the extended cut.
Oh, shit.
So I don't know. I think we got different scenes because I did not see that part.
Why?
I had to buy this from the Microsoft store, and I was like, I guess I'll get the extended version. Why the hell not? They're the same price. So I never saw this scene.
Oh, there's a scene where The Rock goes... Listeners, when I started watching Fast 5, I forgot that we were on 5, and I started watching 6. I think I'm talking about a scene from Fast 6.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
The Rock's gonna beat the shit out of someone in an interrogation room, so you'll get that.
Great, can't wait. But yeah, no. Like he at first is like, oh, I hate these guys. Then he does make the warning at the very beginning. He's like, these guys are like ultra criminals. He's like a top. We got a top federal agent and a man who's been running from us. Since he was able to put a key in the ignition or whatever. But he was like, the number one thing we never ever let them do is get in cars, which I think is so funny because they're like, we know what fucking franchise we're in.
You're right. If you let these fucks get into some cars, it's over. Which I appreciate that Vin Diesel always has the same black muscle car. Mm-hmm. Brian does not. He always has a different one. But it's always an import because remember, one of the key conflicts in this franchise is American muscle versus import.
That's right. But American muscle always wins, baby. Anything else about The Rock? I mean, like his whole thing is that like he chases them, but then the Brazilian guys shoot his cops for some reason, like the people under his command. So then he switches over to like give the Torettos and Brian, like a 24-hour like window after they kill the bad guy.
Kill the bad guy and switch out the vaults.
We'll talk about the vault scene in a bit, but oh my god, so good. Everything about the vault was great.
Moving on to our hot Brazilian widow, Leyla. I liked her a lot. I thought she was cool.
Yeah, I don't know that she was given a lot to work with, but like, I think her inclusion as a character, I think that, The Rock chooses her because he's like, oh, I like her smile. And then she's like, why did you recruit me? My smile's not that great. And he's like, well, actually, it's because your husband was killed and he was a cop, so I know that you can't be bought off. And, like, I think that's actually, like, kind of an effective way to be like, oh, okay, The Rock's not just, like, a weird misogynist. He's very competent and understands the value of loyalty. And it also sets up Elena's motivation, not only for, like, not being one of the, 100 corrupt cops who gets shot to death in this film, but also, like, the reason that she switches over to be on the Toretto side.
Well, she switches over to be on Toretto's side because she is horny for the Diesel.
Also, yeah, that's true. Like, he rescues her into the favela, and he drops his crucifix. She takes it back. He breaks into her house to steal it back from her, and they have a very sexy, like, why would you take this piece of silver? It's only $20. This is a very Les Mis heavy, lots of silver stealing, but she's like, why would you steal this silver? It's only $20. And he's like, it's worth it. And then he's like, oh, he's sad too. I have to fuck him now.
Yeah, it's very charged.
It's good.
What isn't charged is our big bad. I know. Well, physically, he's not our biggest bad, but plot-wise, he is our biggest bad. It's Hernan Reyes, who runs all of Rio.
His inclusion is almost an afterthought. Like, his motivations are like, I like money, I want to protect my money. And that's really it. That's his whole thing, is like he orders people to chase Brian around with guns. And he does. Okay, the only gripe I have with this movie is the ambush at the end, because there's a point where the cops have caught the Torettos and Brian, and they're like, going to extradite them to America. And then fucking Reyes' soldiers show up and just shoot all the cops and kill them, and that's what makes Hobbs switch over. But like, there's no reason for them to have done that.
No, except for the vibes.
Exactly, right? Like, that's my only gripe. But like, like that's not really what this film is going for, right? It's not trying to be like a plot heavy thing. But I did think it was weird. But yeah, it just kind of goes to underscore the fact that Reyes is just kind of like, he's just there to be an obstacle.
He is just there to be an obstacle, and then he gets smashed with a vault, which I think is... No, sorry, he gets the car thrown into him.
Yes, the car is smashed through his windshield, and then The Rock finishes him off.
speaking of not being very plot heavy, you wanted to know, does this movie have a theme?
Yeah, because they keep talking about, like, they keep bringing up, like, oh, you know, why don't we just cut and run? You know, we're, you know, once Vince dies, they're like, you know, I've got some plane tickets, we could just leave. And Dom's like, no, you know, it's not worth it, you know. And they always talk about how, like, you know, being on the run from the feds, they're like, you know, freedom isn't running, right? Like, this ain't freedom. Like, and the whole point is, like, they're trying to get this, you know, like $100 million so that way they can actually have true freedom. And, like, they say these lines, like, maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the film, but I don't know that these themes are actually played out.
So here's my thing. I think that Fast 5 is a turning point for the franchise. Like we talked about with Vince, right? You had to kind of bring him back just to be like family and then kill him to be like new family. I think the important part about Fast 5 is that the franchise has to make a decision of, is the rest of this franchise going to be the family running from increasingly bad cops? How much can you actually escalate cops beyond The Rock, right? I think they had to find a way to truly free Brian and Dom and the rest of the family from the law so that the rest of the franchise could completely lose its hinges.
Yeah, right. Like, because, like, you're right. But the being, all of the shit they did in these films is illegal. But, like, they have to make a clean break to be like, okay, now they're just like, now it's fine. You know, now
they're superheroes.
That we were going to drive a Dodge Charger straight through that thin blue line, and we're going to cover that over with the bodies of 100 police officers. Just to be clear. You know, I have gripe with the way that they treat police officers in this film, because they are all the people that get shot are Brazilians mostly, right? And they're all, like, emphasized to be corrupt Brazilian cops. So, like, I don't think they would have done the same body count had this been in America. So, like, I wish they hadn't really, like, done that, but, you know. I think you're right overall that, like, yeah, they have found the core of what people like about this franchise, and, like, I hope from the here on down they just double down on that and triple down on it. Just a big smile from Leyla.
I'm so excited for the next several films.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
So, speaking of what people like about this franchise.
Yeah, so this franchise is real dumb, right? That it starts with a scene that looks like it could have been part of Mad Max Fury Road, where they have, like, a weird battle-rigged car run up to a train. They cut open the train, one of the cargo doors with, like, a blowtorch, and then they proceed to drag cars out of the train car onto this rig, and then the cars drive off into the desert to steal them. That scene gets complicated, of course, when they realize that there's a bridge coming, so they have to, like, one of the people has to, like, lose a car. They get onto the rig, but then, like, the rig gets fucked up somehow. So Brian has to, like, you know, they lose the rig goes flying. Brian has to jump from one car, you know, off the train into a car that Vin Diesel stole, so they barely escape that. Then the car comes up to a cliff, so they have to jump out of the train, out of the car and into the water. Like, just constant escalation. It's the dumbest and stupidest shit I've ever seen. But it's so fun. It is so bombastic in a way that I really love. And of course, the climactic heist at the end of this movie is, like, all-time big brain, like, the best shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, because so their whole thing is that they want to rob this guy Reyes of $100 million. He has 10 safe houses, and Gal Gadot's like, you are not going to get all 10 safe houses. There's no way. So what they do is they get one safe house, they burn the money, and they make a threat, forcing Reyes to consolidate all his money in the police station in a vault. Therefore, these motherfuckers just steal the vault.
And we don't mean steal the vault like, like get a helicopter or put it on a boat. No, they take 2 Dodge Chargers and they hook it up to this. Oh, I would say it's at least 8 by 13 foot. Like,
they give the measurement. It's 7 by 12, I think.
Okay, yeah. You're right. They actually do specifically say exactly how big it is. This big fucking iron vault, and they just drag it through the streets of Rio de Janeiro. It fucking rules. The entire time they are just like dragging it behind them, this big stupid piece of metal. There's cops chasing after them. There's like explosions happening. They at one point, the family comes in with stolen cop cars to divert them. But the very last moment, right, they realize they're not going to be able to get off of this bridge. So what Dom Toretto does is he turns around and disconnects Brian from the car, so it's just him. And Dom uses the safe as a Morning Star ass like bludgeoning weapon, like driving the car into the oncoming police vehicles, like fucking hitting them with the safe. At one point, the entire like top part of a car gets sliced off by the wire, and I was like, oh, that man's been decapitated, like fully, like dead as fuck. And then the very end where he like throws the safe into the bad guy's car, drives his car into them. It's incredible.
He throws the safe into one bad guy's car, which then has enough momentum to fling the Charger into Rhea's car while he jumps out.
Yeah, yes, it's incredible. It's so good.
This movie in particular has some of the best chase sequences I've ever seen on screen. Just masterful choreography. I can't say it enough. I'm so excited for you to watch Fast 9.
Yeah, no, I can't believe that they top this, because like this is really good. I was reading a little bit about this. Like I think they had to do just like a month of shooting this scene. But a lot of it was practical effects, which is wild. It is wild that they managed to pull this off in any capacity, because it is so stupid and big and like incredible.
Pull this off and not kill anybody.
Oh yeah, no, it is astonishing that there were no fatalities. Like the amount of destroyed cars in this film is off the charts. Like it must have been, this film had a budget of $125 million. I have to assume 100 million of it was cars.
100 million was cars, and the rest was just Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Was Vin Diesel, yes. Speaking of Vin Diesel and The Rock, can we talk about their wrench fight scene? Is that what you wanted to talk about?
No, no, the wrench comes up again in 9.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the fight scene was good, though. I love to see 2 big guys just slugging it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could hear the sound of their hams just clapping against each other. I think it's very funny, though, because like both Vin Diesel and The Rock are people who notoriously have like lines in their contracts. It's like, we are not allowed to lose a fight.
Well, specifically for this franchise, they have to like duke it out at how many fights each of them are allowed to lose and against each other. And, Vin Diesel always has to look crisp after he fights.
Yeah, it's really stupid and funny that it's a contingency point, or not a contingency, but like a point of contention. And it's just very funny that there's 2 men that's like, no, I can't lose. You can't make my character lose a fight. That'll hurt my public image.
If I have to lose, then I have to look hot.
Like, honestly, that's all you need, right? It's like, listen, I'm happy to lose, but I do need to be like a little sexy.
Yeah, I want to be draped dramatically over a chaise bleeding out. That's the kind of way.
That was the line in Vince's contract.
I would love to see him die like that in this franchise. Whatchamacallit? There is a juicy little post-credit scene.
So it is wild that they include this, because it is heavily implied that Vin Diesel hooks up with Elena there at the end. But like, it's a shot of Hobbs at his desk. He's like typing away, and then like his hot assistant comes up, and she's like, "You're gonna want to look at this." And he's like, "Is it about Toretto?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, I don't give a shit then." And she's like, "No, you should look at it." And he opens it up, and he's like, there's a heist. There's like a big 5-man car robbery in some city or whatever. In Berlin, yeah. And he opens it, and there's a picture of one Michelle Rodriguez.
Our girl!
I'm so glad that they tease her resurrection here like this. It rules. It's so fun. I love that.
Letty Ortiz is back, bitch! Just as her widower husband is finally slowly getting over her death.
Nope. One more again. So I know from Fast 7 that there is like a whole amnesia subplot here, which makes me very excited for Fast 6 because I assume the villain of Fast 6 is Letty, which I do want to watch everybody fight Michelle Rodriguez and get their ass kicked by her for a long time.
Oh my god, the next 3 movies are just such masterpieces of cinema.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I'm so excited for you to be. There are 2 major actors that enter the scene. 2 major action stars that enter.
Action stars. Is one Tom Cruise? Mm-mm. Action stars.
They're big, beefy men. Listen,
Who are large. The thing is that the largest men are already in this one. I can't.
So
Jason Momoa is probably not big enough at this point.
So Jason Statham.
Oh yeah, he's Shaw. I remember him.
He's next.
He's in 7, yeah.
And then John Cena does also show up.
Yes, I forgot John Cena's in these.
So just be ready.
Oh my god, yes.
To be clear okay, let's go over this again. So next time we are watching Fast 6. We will not be doing Fast 7 on a separate episode. We've already done Fast 7. You can go listen to that episode. We did 1 and 7 at the same time. Then we're going to do 8. I have not seen 8 or Hobbs and Shaw. I missed those 2. I have seen 9. So 8 is going to be new for both of us.
Excellent. Good. Can't wait.
And then 9 is going to be actually part of our end of year. It's going to be one of our end of year episodes, which is very exciting that we landed.
That'll be great. No, our end of the year is going to be very weird because we're going to watch Fast 9 and also Avatar: The Way of Water.
And there better be a Princess Switch 4.
Oh yeah, 100%. We've got to.
There's got to be some fucked up shit that happens in that universe. You want to take us to the marketing minute?
Yeah, I mean, like I like to imagine with all of these ones, let's do a big stupid marketing minute. If you were gonna, be a scene writer or like a stunt coordinator for one of these films, what is the biggest, most implausible stunt you'd want in your own Fast film?
So I do actually have one.
Okay.
To start, and this would have to happen between Tokyo Drift, and Han's inevitable resurrection, as we've seen. I think that the Charger should get driven through the Hadron Collider, and that Vin Diesel should pull the essence of Han's life force from the fucking buzz nothing of space and death and resurrect him like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that seems reasonable. I would love to watch a heist on death. That's very good.
That's how this franchise should end.
Yes.
What about you?
Mine is, of course, all good franchises that go this long have to go to space. So like in this one, Dom would like be, there would be like some sort of heist, or, they'd have to like extract somebody from a space shuttle, or the ISS actually. Letty is in prison on the ISS. So Dom would have to drive his Dodge Charger off of the space shuttle, crash into the ISS, pull Letty into the Charger. They're going to have to bounce off of the debris. There's going to be some, asteroids coming down as well. And also, like the US military spacecraft, would be like trying to shoot them, but then they would, fall and land, and of course impale their car on the top of the Statue of Liberty.
Now, on the torch or the crown?
The torch is what I was thinking.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. There's a lot of metaphor and symbolism if you think about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Anyway, listeners, if you have a great stunt that you would like to pitch, you can send it to 775-573-8882 for a chance to we will apply for a grant to have it included in the next Fast movie.
Yeah, that's how filmmaking works.
That's my understanding. Well, the grant will, of course, be through the Department of Defense, but we'll work on it.
Well, I'm going to tweet at Vin Diesel until he puts it in.
Oh, that's probably more effective.
Yeah.
Leyla, when we are not harassing Vin Diesel to do cooler and more unhinged stunts on Twitter, where can people find us on the internet?
Find me at LEYLSCS on Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. When this episode drops, I'll still be vibing. It'll be fun. Aaron, what about you?
I am on Twitter at AaronSXL, where I tweet about tabletop RPGs, health policy, and writing. No idea what I'm going to be up to at this point in time. Hopefully it'll be cool. I still will hopefully be doing tabletop RPG reviews. That's at AA Voigt on YouTube. You can listen to the other show I do that's at The Bible Boys, where me and my ex-evangelical friends Josh and Michael review Christian media and either praise or condemn it. And I'm sure we'll be doing some wild, unhinged stuff at that point in time, too, whenever this drops in the feed. So check out that. Our theme song is Obsolete by Keshko from the album Filmmakers Reference Kit Volume 2. You can find more of their music at keshko.bandcamp.com. Leyla, what other final questions do we want to address as the episode begins to end?
So did he, slap that ass or, grab and hold on to it?
Gentleman never tells. We'll see you next week.